This Bitcoin falling wedge pattern is breaking out right now, and on today's update video I will talk about my price targets of all the trends Bitcoin is currently breaking, as well including this very important V-shaped recovery pattern which we are currently creating. So I will be discussing this and many more important charts on today's update video. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap up that like button back above 1000 likes on today's update video. That will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the market. So first of all, Bitcoin is pushing up ever so slightly again, and yes, the trade we've took on the channel altogether is currently over $86,000 in profit, but more about what I'm going to be doing with this trade later in this video, so make sure to continue watching. So right now, if I'm looking at Bitcoin on the minute short term, we've created this very interesting pattern where first we were slowly bleeding, had a big correction, bounced back towards the upside, and now we're slowly creeping back towards the upside. So we're creating a V-shaped recovery pattern, and basically while we had that slow input towards the downside, we are right now seeing that slow input towards the upside, just moments before Bitcoin is going to be actually breaking above this very critical level of resistance. Because yes, if we're looking at the 4-hourly time frame, the most important resistance we're currently looking at is also exactly this level where we previously saw that massive rejection from, which sent Bitcoin all the way towards the downside. So this is a very important point for the Bitcoin price action right now, where we need to see, of course, that continuation towards the upside if we want to be continuing the trend and breaking this downtrend where we're currently trading in. So talking about breaking the downtrend, I mean, we've already seen actually the Bitcoin 4-hourly time frame break the downward sloping trend line. And actually, of course, if I'm looking at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can clearly see that currently the majority of the liquidations are laying above us. And especially if we're going to be looking at that $67,000 level, there are more than $2.88 billion worth of Bitcoin short liquidations if Bitcoin is going to be pushing towards that level. And I have said it many times before, I think that it is all more than likely that we're actually going to be going towards that level, take out the liquidity, and of course from that point move even further on, because if we're going to be looking where the majority of the liquidations are currently laying, it is not below us, no, it is above us. Because if we're going to go back to $70,000, we're going to see more than $8 billion worth of Bitcoin short liquidations. And part of the reason of that is because the funding rates are still negative, which means that the majority of the traders are actually trading short in this market right now instead of long. And as more and more traders are still going to trade short, I believe that, of course, we're going to be having even more fuel for Bitcoin to be going up higher. And while this is happening, if we're looking at the bigger perspective, Bitcoin is right now breaking out of this massive falling wedge pattern. And yes, we broke the downtrend on the 12-hour time frame. We basically consolidated and exactly bounced from that lower side of support. And Bitcoin, its price target on the breakout of this falling wedge pattern, is laying on the top side somewhere around $72,000. So I am extremely excited for this price target we're having here on the top side, which is an approximately 14 to 12% push towards the upside. So I am freaking excited about this target. And honestly, it's going to be a 12% push towards the upside if we're going to be reaching those new highs from off this point onwards, which seems all more than likely, because if we're going to be looking at this Bitcoin bull market so far, every single correction which has like a 20 to 23% correction, we tend to see the bottom of the correction straight away. And once again, we saw a 23% correction, and honestly, it looks to be that this is going to be the ultimate bottom for Bitcoin and the ultimate opportunity to send Bitcoin up even higher. So that was, of course, also one of the reasons why I decided to actually long Bitcoin, and I showed this trade step by step here on my YouTube channel. And of course, if you've been following me on Twitter or on YouTube on my update videos, you know what I did with this trade. I talked about it step by step on how I was approaching it, how I was opening it, and of course I even showed you once I was in a loss, because at one point I was in a slight little loss here, and then of course I accumulated even more in my trade because I was super convinced that this trade was going to be even giving me more results. So yeah, now we're in a significant profit, and honestly my first take profit target for Bitcoin is going to be $67,000, because I believe that $67,000 is going to be that level where we're going to see a big squeeze in the market, and once we take out that liquidity, potentially we could be seeing some downside coming back towards the market. So important to pay attention towards. But basically what my strategy was, of course, is buy Bitcoin in the orange box and then wait till it is going to be bouncing back towards the top side of the region, which I think is going to be happening most likely from off this point. But $67,000, which is of course this previous high in the market right here, is not too bad of a target to already take some profits off the table, especially since I'm right now already $85,000 in profit. If I'm going to be setting my partial take profit around $67,000, I would already make more than, what is it, like 140,000 US dollars. So for me, it makes sense to take some profits once we're going to be hitting that target. So yeah, I will be continuing to update you guys what I'm doing with my trade, because I know a lot of my followers have been also taking the exact same trade. So congratulations to everyone out there. But if you have not traded yet so far, make sure to check out Bybit in the link description of today's video, because if you're going to sign up an account using that link below, guys, you can claim a free $200 for only a $100 deposit in your first 7 days. All you need to do to claim it is go to the link description of today's video, press on this link, sign up an account, and deposit $100 in your first 7 days, and boom, you could open up a free $200 trade, and you could make thousands of dollars from that trade if you've got just a good entry. So very interesting to know, very important to understand. But currently, if we're looking at the bigger perspective of it all, we opened a new weekly candle, and Bitcoin actually confirmed the weekly bullish hammer candle on Bitcoin, and that is actually a very bullish candle if you would ask me. I mean, we went towards the downside, we exactly found some support on the lower side I was expecting, and boom, Bitcoin bounced, created a massive weekly hammer candle. And with this just right now confirmed, I believe that yes, most likely the coming weeks are going to be actually quite bullish, because this hammer candle, what we're seeing right here, is just looking very strong for Bitcoin. Also on the daily time frame, we first were flipping negative on the daily EMA, now we're flipping positive again. Bitcoin is bouncing back very strongly, but trading exactly against this trend right here. But yeah, since we broke the 4-hourly downtrend right here, I'm expecting that most likely today, since it is Monday, we're going to see that next move towards the upside. Yeah, if I'm looking at the falling wedge pattern, it makes sense that we're going to be seeing that next move anytime soon. And if I'm looking right now on the imminent short term, we're creating somewhat of a W pattern. And yes, really once we're breaking above that high right here, we're most likely expecting that continuation. So if I'm looking at the 1 hour time frame, you can clearly see we're getting rejected exactly every single time from that, 64,500 level. And whenever we do break above that region right there, we're most likely going to be seeing that massive continuation upwards. So interesting to be looking at, important to understand. And basically, I am just super excited on Bitcoin, and I think we're going to be going higher, especially since the liquidity is still being built up above us. We're also going to get the final deadline for the spot Ethereum ETF. And this could be actually quite massive as well, because if it gets accepted, we're expecting that Ethereum is going to generate a massive pump. And right now, it is creating on the daily time frame also a massive falling wedge pattern. And potentially, if Bitcoin is going to be recovering from off this point, which I think is going to be likely, Ethereum is most likely going to be the strongest recovery performer. And yeah, interesting trade to be potentially paying attention towards. I mean, from off the lows where we long Bitcoin, Ethereum is up over 12%. And if I'm going to be looking at Bitcoin, it is up over 13.5%. So it has been outperforming Ethereum ever so slightly. But yeah, I think that really once the ETF is going to get accepted, which will most likely happen in my opinion, we're going to be seeing Ethereum even pump more towards the upside. So important to understand this. But yeah, this was it for me in today's update video. There's nothing more to discuss right now here. Make sure to pay attention towards the falling wedge breakout, the 4-hourly downtrend breakout, and most likely we're just going to be seeing a massive continuation towards the upside. So thanks so much for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.